All right, here's another example of complex fractions, simplifying complex fractions. We took a look at, let's see, in video A, we took a look at this one. There's an A. We took a look at that one. Video B, we're going to take a look at this one, and really we're going to simplify complex fractions. A complex fraction is a fraction with a fraction in the numerator and or denominator. So this is a complex fraction because it's a fraction, big divided by, with a fraction in the numerator and a fraction in the denominator. We're going to simplify by following these steps. This page is pinned, so I'm going to go to the next page, and the next page, and that's, oops, sorry, we did that one already. We multiplied by the lowest common multiple, so we're going to do that same thing. Well, here, we've got a complex fraction. Here's our divided by bar, big divided by bar right there. Here's our numerator. Here's our denominator. What we're going to do is we're going to follow method number one. I think it's the fastest, the most efficient way to get to a simplified complex fraction. So step number one is determine the lowest common multiple of the denominators of the fractions in the numerator and denominator. So here's a fraction in the numerator, here's a fraction in the denominator. What is our lowest common multiple of those guys? Here's our lowest common multiple. Lowest common multiple of this fraction and that fraction. Well, you've got to factor that x, and it really just becomes x. So lowest common multiple of these two fractions includes every factor, and x, what's there already, we don't have to list it, from every fraction raised to the highest power. Alright, so we got the lowest common multiple, x. So step number one, right there. Step two, multiply the numerator and denominator of that complex fraction, numerator and denominator of the complex fraction, by that lowest common multiple of x. Here in the red, we're multiplying by 1. And what do we get in my numerator? I'm going to have, here's my numerator, 4 plus 1 over x times x. And all I'm doing is distributing that here. So my numerator becomes that. 4 times x, 4x. Next term is positive times positive. It's an unwritten number, so it's got to be, or unwritten signs, it's got to be positive. Positive times positive, positive. 1 over x times x. X's cancel out. I've got 1. In the denominator, here's my denominator. I'm multiplying 3 plus 2 over x times x. And what do I get? Multiply, distribute that x to everything in there. 3 times x, positive times positive, positive. We don't write the leading term. 3 times x is 3x. Positive. Next term is positive times positive, gives us a positive. 2 over x times x, it can be thought of as x over 1. X's cancel with x's. X divided by x is factors. The x's cancel, factor out, reduce, simplify, all the same word. X's cancel out, we've got just 2. So there's my numerator here in blue, there's my denominator there, and I've got my divided bar between them right there. So now let's see if we can simplify. We can simplify factors. So 4 is not a factor, x is not a factor, 1 is not a factor. So the 4 cannot cancel with the 2 because the entire factor in the numerator is right there. The entire factor in the denominator is right there. So we can cancel an entire 4x plus 1 with a 4x plus 1 down here, but we can't cancel the 4 and the 2. So if we can factor out something from a 4x plus 1, we could do that. Can we factor out anything from the 3x plus 2? Neither one of the numerator or denominator can factor anything out, so essentially there's our answer. 4x plus 1 over 3x plus 2. It's a simplified fraction because this is pretty ugly. We don't like to have fractions inside of fractions, so we simplify by multiplying by our lowest common multiple, and then here's what we get. If we could simplify that, it would be better, but we can't. So there's our answer.